And welcome back to another episode of Born to Talk About Sports. My name is Steve Bourne, and first of all, I do want to apologize for the long layoff. I've got my set back, a little bit of an on angle because I'm recording this on Monday, August 1st in the afternoon, so it's a bit sunny, and I didn't want to blind you guys. But yeah, today I'm going to talk about postseason awards, how legit they are, what I personally think they need to improve on to make it more legitimate, and also talk about how it's like voter fatigue. I guess is the best way to describe it. Not me personally, but I've seen others describe it. And again, just the legitimacy of the award, because let's face it, the people who win the regular season MVPs, a lot of them don't go on to playoff success. Look at Austin Matthews this year. Won the NHL Most Valuable Player Award, the Hart Trophy. Had a really good playoff personally, but again, didn't get out of the first round. NBA MVP Jokic didn't get out of the first round. NFL MVP Aaron Rodgers choked in the playoffs again. Major League Baseball MVP last year Shohei Ohtani didn't even get to the playoffs. So obviously, the MVP does obviously it's a single award, but it doesn't. They don't really impact a champion. It really doesn't seem like to win a championship you need to have a league MVP. But let's start to go with since obviously everyone knows I'm a Leaf fan. We'll go with Austin Matthews winning the Hart Trophy. Is he did he deserve it? You could make a definitely an argument. 60 goals in 73 games, well over 100 points. I think he finished third, definitely top four in points per game behind McDavid. I think it was Goudreau and Huberdeau. But I mean, if you're looking like true, what the NHL, the Hart Trophy is most valuable to your team. McDavid had Draisaitl. Matthews has Mitch Marner. If you actually look at, in my opinion, the most true valuable to their team, it's Shesterkin and with the Rangers. Do the Rangers even make the playoffs? Forget how they making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but because the awards are voted for at the end of the regular season. But do you think the Rangers even make the playoffs with without Shesterkin and net and just Grigoriev? I highly doubt it. If you go actually pure what the intent of the award is for, it's Shesterkin. And then if you go in the NBA, you've got Nikola Jokic winning the NBA League MVP. I honestly think it should have gone to Joel Embiid, but Joel Embiid, as good as he is, he does something that ticks off the writers. I mean, he won the scoring title as a center. That's virtually unheard of. Outside of Shaq, and I'm really trying to think of centers. A lot of centers don't win scoring titles because their shooting range is about maybe 7-8 feet tops. About as tall. Their shooting range is about as tall as they are, and outside of the year, at least for the American centers. But with Embiid is he's a flopper. And since the writers, who I'm going to get to later, don't obviously see that into consideration. I mean, Embiid literally did everything he could in the regular season last year um, to win that MVP. But again, since he's a flopper, he he did not win the MVP, and I understand that to an extent. But I still would have given it if I had a vote. I'd still give it to Embiid, especially the way he single handedly beat the Raptors in the playoffs and almost came back from a torn thumb, a concussion, and a broken face to almost come back and beat Miami in the second round. I mean, you can make a legit argument right now that Embiid is probably the best player in the game right now. And I really do think the only way he wins an MVP is if he stops flopping on the ground every time someone comes in within 2 feet of him. But then, like you say, with MVPs, it's also you need to be flashy. Austin Matthews and Jokic out in Denver can be both pretty flashy. Honestly, though, with Jokic, I don't consider him one of the top 5 players in the game. Top 10, maybe, but not top 5. I know he puts up big stats, but he has no real impact, I think, on his team because they'll make the playoffs. I mean, he didn't carry his team. They weren't a top team in the West, and he didn't carry them into a team that you think they can win a title with. Embiid, you can see them even potentially making definitely a conference final, perhaps an NBA final. So, and if you go look in the East or in the NHL, just talking about the most recent MVP awards handed out with Austin Matthews. Matthews is definitely a key piece to could put the Leafs over the top if they ever get out of the first round. And right now, I don't think any team would ever pick the Leafs to win a playoff run until they actually do, which is fair. I mean, they've had, like 6-7 straight years in the Matthews-Marner era. Matthews-Marner-Nylander really era. And they've made it to a deciding game all but the first year and have lost every single time with either Freddie Anderson or Jack Campbell at net. I mean, who knows with Murray and Samsonov, and if those two falter, if the Leafs search for a goalie mid-season, who knows? But at least with Matthews, you could definitely make a better argument Matthews winning the Hart Trophy. But again, I'm going to go to, McDavid 120 points. What else could have McDavid done? I think the only stat, looking at McDavid's stats, because I was really looking at what could cost him the Hart Trophy. And looking at McDavid's stats, I think the only one, and this is truly nitpicking, so you Oilers fans, please don't attack me on this one, is even strength, his points per game is less than 1. I think he had something like 78 points in 80 games, even strength, which is still pretty good, but it's not even top 5. And again, that's probably the only stat of his offensive stat that doesn't blow you away. It leads to the quote unquote haters saying that he's a power play specialist, but that's not his game. I think definitely he needs to. He was outstanding 5-on-5 in the playoffs, especially now that they're running it back with bringing back Evander Kane, and if Jack Campbell could ever stay healthy for a year, history doesn't indicate it, but if he could ever stay healthy for a year, I think Edmonton could do some damage in the West. But if Jack Campbell goes down, you've got pretty much this same Oilers as last year. And now Evander Kane's going to be there for another 4 years. Who knows how motivated he's going to be now that he's not playing for a contract. And you got Zach Hyman's another year older. They've got a few guys who are another year older. Edmonton is a team to look out for, but if they can get McDavid a bit more 5-on-5 chances, I mean, the sky's the limit for him. I mean, he had 120 points with only under a point a game, even strength. That's 3-on-3, 5-on-5, 4-on-4, whatever. Matthews was, I think, in 63 games, he had something like 70 points 5-on-5, and that's because the Leafs game is a bit different. I mean, the Leafs have so many weapons offensively, especially on the power play when they load them up with Nylander and Marner and Tavares, that they really don't need Matthews to score as much. He can be just a threat. And then you still have Tavares out front, Marner and Nylander around the sides. So, I mean, that Matthews is probably the best 5-on-5 player in the game. Stats pretty much show it. I mean, who knows what Matthews' numbers could have been if the Leafs, for a majority of the year, weren't in the bottom third in the league in power play chances. I mean, that's where the ice time gets miscued between the infamous McDavid or Matthews. I mean, I still think McDavid's the best player in the league. I mean, 120 points in 80 games is absolutely insane. And if he actually improves his 5-on-5 play or even strength play, it could be up to 130, 140. And it's like at that point, you have to give him the Hart Trophy. But I think McDavid, he's only won, believe it or not, won one Hart Trophy, and he could easily have a couple more. But I think he's suffering the same thing that Michael Jordan suffered from in the late 90s, and that's voter fatigue, where every single year you could give him the Hart Trophy and no one would question it. But then it becomes almost like the Primetime Emmy Awards show, where it's the same shows getting the same nominations year after year after year. Like it was always with 24 and Breaking Bad, and on the comedy side, Modern Family. And it looks like now the new darling is Ted Lasso. And then also you've got This Is Us. I mean, it's people like change. People like mix up. I think that's one reason why say Matthews won it this year. I know first leaf in 60 odd years to win it. But still, I think you could make it a case. But I mean, how do you really fix award winners, especially league MVPs, without getting into biases? Because it's writers that vote on it, and you'll get, and someone like East Coast writers, like for instance TSN's Craig Button, he didn't even vote Matthews in the top 4 in Hart Trophy, and he still won it. I mean, there's obviously some sort of biases out there, and there's got to be a way to stop it. Whether it only be national writers or national writers and broadcasters who their job is to watch every single either highlight package or game. But to me, regional writers, they should not vote on awards because they don't see every team all the time. They only see, like, if you're a West Coast writer, you only see guys like Matthews or Shesterkin or superstar players on the East Coast, say Brad Marchand or somebody like that. You only see them twice a year. How can you vote for him potentially being an MVP when you only see him twice a year? You can't really look at a stat line and say, this guy's more valuable than that guy. So maybe the best way to do it is, if you really want to get a true opinion, is national writers only with, say, TSN, Sportsnet, ESPN, RDS, TNT, Fox, this new Bally's sports network. But yeah, so that's my thought on postseason player awards. Is I think best way to make it a bit more legit is maybe cut down the field on people who actually voted, and also look at and actually watch the games as opposed to stats. Stats do have a big part of it, but actually watch the game, watch the games, watch the highlight packages. Again, sorry for the delay. I'm going to be back to normal now that I've got my set back. If you guys have any questions, any topics you want me to discuss, hit me up on Twitter at SteveBorn1. Also, this show is now on Instagram, all lowercase, Born to Talk About Sports. Hit me up on the, as the kids say, hit me up on the Instas. And again, I'm recording this on Monday, August 1st. Tomorrow is the Major League Baseball trade deadline, 6 p.m. No waiver trade deadline. I'm glad they got away with that. And then we're going down the stretch drive. I guess next week I might be talking about the stretch drive and what I expect to see across Major League Baseball. So again, Twitter, SteveBorn1. You find me on Facebook, and brand new on Instagram, all lowercase, Born to Talk About Sports. And until then, I'll see you next time, and stay safe.